Oh God, camera, why? Hello everybody and welcome back to the stream. It's Friday and you know what that means. It's time for Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using random crap you can find around your living room. Like laundry detergent bottles, the thing we all just carry in our living room, right? Oh my God, hi everybody. Hi. I I come to you a little frustrated because my apartment complex, as I think I mentioned some weeks ago, the HVAC system can only run one type of air at a time. So the whole system can either run AC or it can run heat, but there is no way for it to run both. And they've switched it over to heat, even though it is currently 74 degrees in Colorado. So I am very much not looking forward to being really, really overheated. But here we are. Hopefully when I get a better mic, maybe. No, I can't really open the door. God damn it. It's gonna be rough teaching during the winter, friends, is I think the takeaway here. But no matter, we're here, we're working, we're excited about it. Hi! Glad everybody made it to Friday. I hope your week has been going pretty well. Yeah, what a weird week. My first post vacation week. And yeah, I think that I talked about this a few days ago, how my vacation week was sadly not the relaxing, productive paradise that I'd hoped that it would be. Although it was very good in terms of giving my body a rest week, and I've definitely been feeling that in my exercise this week. But I ended up having to do some emotionally difficult things that I really struggled with, and they were the right thing to do, I think. But it's one of those things where the decision doesn't just impact you on the day that you make it, but it sort of continues to reverberate. So just continuing to sort of move forward and figure out, what my next steps are with everything, which is fun. However, and I can't announce it quite yet, but there's some really exciting stuff coming to the channel. I think it's exciting anyway. It's not that thrilling, but I'm pretty excited about it. I can't wait to show you guys what it is, because I'm really excited. But it is beautifully fall. Lots of trees turning yellow, lots of leaves on the ground. It definitely feels like fall, even though this week has been a little bit warmer than last week was. But we're supposed to have a pretty big shift over to a cold front coming in the next week or so, which I'm excited for because, as we've talked about, I'm really looking forward to pants and jackets season. Yeah, pants and jacket season. So, but, all of that can come later because we're here and we're about to exercise. I'm so excited. So this is Functional Home Fitness. It's our weight training day with random stuff. If this is your first time at Functional Home Fitness, I have two pieces of information to convey. The first one is that obviously, with a class where we're just using random stuff like bags and laundry detergent to do our weight training, it's not fancy gym equipment. It does not have its weight nicely written on the side in the same way, and so we are not able to be as deliberate about our loading process as we would be in a gym. So if this is your first class, err on the side of caution when you do your first sets of the various exercises. And then as we keep going through class, you can, if you do one set and you're like, that was way too easy, I can go for a little more weight, then see what you can do to add a little bit more weight. But, be conscientious about how you're doing it, because again, we're not using weights that say 10 pounds, 15 pounds, and that kind of thing. So we just want to exercise a little more caution as we're loading so we don't injure ourselves. The other piece of information is more general advice when we're doing free weight training, which is when you are loading yourself. So when you are deciding on the amount of weight to use, and this is particularly for arm-based exercises, because leg exercises are different. The legs aren't, with free weights, generally the thing's actually lifting the weights, so it's a little less relevant. But when you're loading for arm exercises, make sure that you are pitching the overall amount of weight that you're using towards what your weaker side can do safely and correctly, rather than what your stronger side can do. So we are not symmetrical creatures. Everybody has a weaker side and a stronger side. And, we can have a tendency to think, okay, well, if I want to strengthen my weaker side, then I need to pump it up to what my stronger side can do. But, that puts us in danger of trying to push our weaker sides too far too fast, and in an unhealthy way, and that puts us in the path of ending up with an injury if we are using an amount of weight that our weaker side just cannot manage safely, because that's the most important thing. We want to be able to challenge ourselves, we want to be able to increase our performance, but we want to do it safely and healthily, because nothing derails exercise like an injury. Okay, so that's your other caveat. Anytime you're doing free weights, make sure you are paying attention to the capacity of your weaker side and not trying to shove it up to a higher degree of performance than it is ready to be at. Okay? All right. Oh, my shoulder. Why? I don't even know. See, this is why you want to be careful about your free weight training. Otherwise, you end up with chronic injuries, and then you're just sitting around minding your own business, and your shoulder decides to be like, hey, remember me? I'm like, yes, I do remember you. I don't know why you think I would have forgotten you. I don't know why you feel like you have to do this. But anyway, all right, now that we've gotten those out of the way, let's do our pre-class checklist. So everybody got your water-bearing vessel of some kind, whether it's a water bottle or a nice giant mason jar like I have. We want to make sure we are hydrating. We got our comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. My hair is a really nice contrast with these pants. See, this is the nice thing about having a funky hair color, is that it plays really, really nicely off of a lot of the clothing that I have. And I'm like, oh, I get to like match things or complement my hair in a way that you don't do when you just like have blonde hair. We've got our mats set up on our floors, or a mat-sized area of space. And if you are using a fitness wearable, we can turn that on now. For our Friday class, we use a strength training setting rather than a high-intensity interval training setting. So, yeah, just go for a strength setting rather than a HIIT setting. But yeah, all right, 6:05. I think it's time to get grooving. So here we go. Let's do our warm-up, my friends. So everybody, carefully remove your glasses if that's a thing you deal with. And everybody over onto your mats, on your backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, starting with our hip rocks and bridges. As soon as you hear that horn go off, oh, I ate a late lunch and I'm feeling wonderfully full, but also like I want a nap, which is not great considering that, we're kicking off an hour-long stream here. But it's okay. It's okay. Once the blood's pumping a little bit, we'll get a little farther in and then my brain will remember that it's supposed to be awake right now. I also want to apologize in advance for how bad the lighting quality is going to be by the end of this stream. We are officially in winter season, which means that basically, unless I'm teaching at 9 in the morning, I lose my sunlight by 6:30 ish, and of course, it's already past 6 o'clock. So I am planning to put in an order for like a soft box or some sort of lighting, hopefully within the next few days, so that we don't have to deal with this terrible lighting quality for too long, because these streams have been pretty chill since I started them, and that's wonderful, but you still want people to be able to see what you're doing and to not be blinded by like the fluorescent light in my kitchen. So yes, apologies in advance, but I know we'll make it through. And by the time we get to the point where that would be even relevant, you guys will know exactly what you're doing, and we won't really have to worry about it. All right, on to our sides for our leg sequence, starting with Jane Fonda. Hooray. This is also the start of, so for anybody who has not been to any of the other classes so far this week, we are doing Rocktober, which is a ridiculous hashtag I just felt like using. But basically, this week and for the rest of the month, we are going to be using basically the same exercise structure, but we are going to be ramping up intensity for it week over week, okay? And that means different things in different classes. So for today's class, what that's going to look at, since we can't really consistently do anything to ramp up the weight, not in a class-wide way, what it's going to mean for this class is that I'm going to want you to ramp up the number of reps that you are doing for each set week over week. So basically each week, each Friday, I'm going to give you a range of reps with a higher max point, okay? So the minimum point is going to stay about the same, and I already give pretty wide ranges because there's just such a range of ability and experience, and I'm not in the room with everybody, so I want to make sure that people are able to choose a number that works for them. But so the minimum number will stay the same each week. The maximum number will keep going up, and apart from that, I'm going to want you to set a goal for yourself that you are upping your number of reps by at least 5 each week. So if this week you do 15 reps of one of the exercises each time, then next week I want you to be doing at least 20 reps, okay? So we're gonna really focus in this month on performance improvement, on challenging ourselves to see what we can achieve over the course of a month. So the exercises themselves are going to stay pretty much exactly the same, and that's deliberate because I don't want you to have to use a ton of conscious brain power figuring out new exercise structures, okay? So when we are just doing the same set of exercises each time, it means that we don't have to use all of that conscious processing, that we usually use in class to go, okay, what's the next exercise? Oh, that's right. I think she said, no, that's next. I'm supposed to be doing this right now. We get to cut that out because we're going to be doing the same things each week. So instead, you can really use all of that brain energy to challenge yourself and to see what you can do and how well you can push yourself forward. So that's going to be the goal over the next 4 weeks, including this week. Yeah, I have this image in my head of like some sort of tiny badge or something that we can send out to anybody who comes to all 4 weeks. You know, when I got the idea for the structure from a mentor of mine, and what he did in class was he had this sign-up sheet that was shaped like a martini glass, and we tracked ourselves on there, and slowly the level of the martini rose week over week, which was really cute. But yeah, I'm really excited. You know, it's important to have those times where we can really sort of focus very deliberate time and attention on challenging ourselves. You know, it's really easy to get into not a rut, but a habit, you know? And we've talked about how our brains are really good at figuring out how to do everything that is asked of them with a minimum amount of energy, you know? That's what our brain is trying to do. It's trying to do that. That's an evolutionary process. It wants to figure out how it can meet the demands being placed on it while still really saving a lot of energy in the background. And so we are going to get rid of all of the excuses that our brains give us to not push ourselves, you know? We're getting rid of the excuse of, oh, well, I just didn't know what the next exercise was. We're doing the same exercises every single week for the next 4 weeks. You know, we're getting rid of the, well, I just don't know that exercise particularly well excuse, because, you know, we're going to be doing them a bunch. So we're going to know those exercises really well. So you're really going to have an opportunity to just focus in and be like, all right, here we are. Let's see what we can accomplish, you know? And the beautiful thing is that we all can make our own goals and success criteria, you know? So we're not in a room sort of side-eyeing each other and going, oh man, well, I feel like I need to be pushing myself maybe past where I actually can be, but this person next to me is being so hardcore and I feel like I'm supposed to catch up with that. You know, we don't have to worry about any of that, because we're here in a safe space, and we're not beholden to anybody for our performance. So I want you, especially today, you know, today is a focus on learning the exercises, getting your baseline understanding of your performance of them, and that by the end of class, sort of determining for yourself, okay, what are my goals for these next 4 weeks? What do I want to accomplish with Rocktober? Okay? So really take some time during class and after class to figure out where you want to be by the end of this, okay? And what you want to focus on. The tag's coming out of my shirt. Dang it. All right. And I hope you enjoy it. I'm really excited. You know, it is a nice change of pace and a nice way to challenge ourselves. And then you know, once we get to the end of it, once we get to the end of this like awesome challenge and we start bringing, you know, additional variety back in class, then that will provide us something new to focus on, you know, and a new challenge to get back into, remembering all these other exercises that we like to do. So I think that it's going to be a good time, and I hope that everybody is going to enjoy it as much as I am enjoying setting it up and getting it kicked off this week. Oh my God, guys, let me tell you, I can definitely feel that I do not have AC on right now, and whoo, is it not pleasant. Not at all pleasant. The air quality was at least a little better today here in Colorado, which is good because, you know, we've got the Cameron Peak fire still doing its thing up in Fort Collins, and there's apparently a fire in the corner of Wyoming, I believe, that's trying to make its way towards the state line. So we yesterday by 5, you could not see the mountains. They were vague shapes through the haze, and it's just so disconcerting. So disconcerting. This has definitely been the worst fire season here since I moved here 6 years ago, or will be 6 years next month. But yeah, this has been a really awful fire season, and I really hope that it doesn't last too much longer. That's another reason to be looking forward to colder weather and snow and other types of precipitation. Is just being like, oh my God, I really would like Mother Nature to help us out a little bit with getting these fires under control. And she doesn't owe us anything because we've been really bad at taking care of her, but man, would I appreciate her help nonetheless, because it has been so hard. Even for those of us who don't have respiratory issues or asthma or anything like that, you still feel it. You still get the sore throat and the little tickle cough and all that stuff. And, it's really great to have to play guess the reason for my cough. Is it, seasonal allergies? Is it the haze from the apocalyptic wildfires? Or is it the, global pandemic? It's not a fun game to have to play. And I am very much looking forward to the end of it. Colorado has always been really strict in terms of its fire bans since I moved out here. And this is the first year, like, I always understood why. Obviously, it's a very dry state and it has a history of wildfires, obviously, but this is the first year that I think, it really got hammered home to me just how important those fire bans are, and just how, completely unforgivable it is when anybody goes ahead and violates those fire bans, because you're not just playing with your own life, you're playing with the lives of however many millions of people live here in the state. And, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for that. So, definitely something that I will always be very cognizant cognizant of wherever I live in my life. If it is a place where drought conditions are common, where fires are an issue, I will never, ever be cavalier with fire bans, because the risk is just way too great, you know, because this has been going on for months at this point, and they're not expecting to have Cameron Peak under control until at least the end of October, which is crazy, you know, because that fire has been going for a couple months. Oh my goodness. Hey! Hello. Welcome to the stream. Yes, we're here being so healthy. It's good to be healthy. Yeah. Speaking of, everybody drink your water. Oh man. Yeah. Water. Very important part of this whole process. And make sure that you have it really easily available, because, you know, today's class is not one of the classes where we sit down and have like a full 2-minute rest between everything. Obviously, we just sort of set the timer going and we're off until the end of class. So make sure that you have your water within arm's reach of your mat and your weights, so that you're not having to run all over Hell's Half Acre to get everything done. All right, so let's go over our exercises, because there's only going to be 4, which is awesome. And it also means that you can really focus in on what we're doing. So we're going to be keeping it pretty old school for our exercises for Fridays, okay? We're going to be focusing in on some relatively well-known exercises here. We're not doing anything too funky, which should help in terms of building up your number of reps, your stamina, your strength, etc., etc. So, first exercise, and I'm going to use a backpack with books in it. Any type of bags are great for this class because you can adjust the weight of them so much more easily. You know, if the bag feels lighter than you want to be using, just add another book in there, okay? So first we're going to be doing goblet squats. So if I was doing this in a gym, I would be using a dumbbell or a kettlebell just held in front of me. I'm just going to use the backpack for this, holding it, you know, at about chest height. I know you can't see my face right now. And we're taking our feet about shoulder width apart, and we're just going to be squatting down and up and down and up, making sure that our knees are going straight over our feet, not caving in towards one another. If you can't do the full motion without your knees caving in like that, narrow your stance a little bit. Try it again. If you can maintain that, then that's the stance you want to stick with until you've strengthened enough that you can try widening it again, okay? Second exercise is going to be upright rows. So if I was doing this one in a gym, I would be using 2 dumbbells of equal weights and using them to do the exercise. So there are a couple of ways we can do this. We can do books. If you want to do 2 objects and you have 2 books of an appropriate amount of weight, we're just going to take a nice stable stance. You know, we're not really concerned about feet being a specific distance apart. We want to make sure that we've engaged our core and our glutes for stabilization. So everything except our arms is nice and stable. And then we're just rowing up. So lifting our weights up to about chest height. My arms are parallel with the floor, and then lowering them down. If you don't have two separate objects that are the same amount of weight, you can do this with a single object. So I frequently will use the detergent bottle for this, and just because it's got that top handle, and just pull it up and down. You can also, again, bags are so great. Most bags have some sort of handle at the top, so you can also use your bag for that, all right? Lots of options. Third exercise, I'm gonna go back to the same type of weight that I used for the goblet squats, but now we're doing goblet lunges. So I'll show you from the side. I'm gonna take that nice standing position. I'm gonna step forward into a double bent leg lunge, push back to standing, other side, push back to standing, okay? One of the things to pay attention to, you do not want your knee, your front knee, pushing out really far past your toes. So you may have to step forward farther than you think you do so that you can try and keep that shin more perpendicular with the ground, okay? Then our fourth exercise is going to be lateral raises. This is an exercise that does need two objects, and you generally want to go lighter on the amount of weight because this is a shoulder focused exercise. You don't want to overload the shoulders, okay? So just holding our weights again. If I was in a gym, I'd be using dumbbells, palms facing towards the body, and I'm just going to lift them up to where they are at about shoulder height, parallel with the floor, and then down, up, and down, and up, and down, okay? So those are our four exercises. We've got goblet squats, upright rows, goblet lunges, and lateral raises, okay? So for today, our range of reps, giving you the dramatic pause while I take a drink of water. For today, our range of reps is going to be 15 to 25, okay? So I want you, for each of these exercises, to do no fewer than 15 reps and no more than 25 reps, all right? If you get to 25 and you're like, man, that just felt too easy, well then next time we come around to the exercise, you can try and load up a little bit more, okay? And the structure for the timer is when we hear the horn go, that's the start of a 2-minute timer. And once that timer starts, once that horn goes, you start doing your reps. Do them all in a row. So if I'm doing 20 reps, I do all 20 reps in a row, and then I use the rest of the timer to rest, grab water, stretch myself out. Then 10 seconds before the end of the timer, you'll hear a knock, 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 and that's your sign to get ready for the next exercise. Next horn will go, you start your 15 to 25 reps of the next exercise, okay? So, everybody, back to your mats. Remember, we're starting with goblet squats. We're going 4 times through each exercise. Get ready, get set, and, whoop, hang on. The start button didn't actually go. There we go. All right, get ready, get set. Now we're about to go. Ready? Hey, all right. So today's class, as I said, we're focusing on getting to really know the exercises, making sure that we have got the form down. Form is one of the things that I lecture on the most because it is the most important component of any fitness program or fitness journey, making sure that you are doing the exercises correctly, because you know what? It is no good to anyone, least of all yourself, if you're over here being able to spit out 50 reps of an exercise but doing it incorrectly and in a way that's gonna set yourself up for injury, okay? So as we think about our form for goblet squats, the squat is the big part. The weight really doesn't move anywhere, you know? We're not trying to manipulate the bag at all or move it around. For leg exercises, for free weights, the purpose of holding the weight is to add additional external force that your legs have to push up against in order to complete the movement, okay? So we're not here trying to move the weight around for goblet squats. All of our focus should be on what our legs are doing, okay? So this weight is just here, but I'm focusing in on, again, always having my core engaged, is that really important stabilizing muscle group, and making sure that my knees are safe. All right, we heard the knock, knock, knock. So now we prep ourselves for upright rows, and here we go. As soon as that horn goes, we are moving. And again, remember, if this is your first time doing class, be a little conservative on your first run through as you test out different objects, different amounts of weight. We don't have any nicely labeled backpacks that are like, this backpack is exactly 25 pounds. Oh, and the other note, I guess that's good to say, is that if you actually have dumbbells and kettlebells at home, you are more than welcome to use them during class, okay? You are not in any way required to take this class and only use these objects that I'm up here using, okay? My purpose in building this class was to make it accessible to as many people as possible. And a lot of us do not have that kind of gym equipment at home, you know, and didn't necessarily think that there was a reason to have it, because why would I have that stuff at home when I have a gym? Then, of course, you know, the plague comes along and changes a lot of things for a lot of us. And now, you know, there are all these news stories about about the insane difficulty people are having in finding home gym equipment. So the point of this class is to help spark that creativity for you and help you realize, as you're getting ready for goblet lunges, that you do not have to have that fancy gym equipment in order to get a nice weight session in. But if you have those weights at home, feel free to use them, okay? And I do try to point out what type of weight I would be using in the gym if I was in that situation, okay? So, yeah, if you're here doing class and being like, man, none of the objects that I have feel like they're giving me enough weight, but you know, this is what we're supposed to do for class. No, if that's not working for you and you have the equipment, go for it, okay? Absolutely go for it. So here we are doing our goblet lunges. So again, that weight is staying in the exact same place the whole time. Again, we're not trying to manipulate it around. The main thing is checking those knees. So we're not bringing the back knee all the way down to the floor. We're not, you know, kneeling and serenading somebody on a balcony. So the back leg should always be, you know, at least an inch off the floor. And the front leg, again, you want that shin to be closer to perpendicular with the ground, okay? So you may have to step forward a lot farther than you feel like you should in order to make sure that you're not pushing your knee super far past your toes. Dang it, I was gonna drink water. But there's the knocking sound, which means we have to prep for our lateral raises. Stable base, 2 objects. Here we go. All right. I think the most disconcerting thing about teaching these classes is I'm just staring at, I, like you, I'm just staring at myself. Because I'm just, seeing my own webcam results. And so, seeing those places where I'm like, ooh, I really need to work on that piece of positioning or that particular form. But I'm mirrored, so then I have to figure out which limb is it, which side is it that I'm actually seeing that on. And, so you see me do a little bit of weird back and forth wobbling as I try to compensate correctly and fix whatever I was doing wrong. But so for our lateral raises, yeah, make sure that you're going on the lower end of the spectrum weight-wise, because our shoulders, they're a ball and socket joint, so their tendency is flexibility and movement. This is an exercise where we want them to have strength and stability, okay? We don't want them to be able to move all around. We want them to be able to lift safely this weight up and lower it down without getting pulled or jerked around in a way that's going to injure them, okay? So definitely my recommendation for lateral raises is lower weights and more reps, okay? All right, my friends, we are done with our first run through and about to circle all the way back around to those goblet squats. So here we are. This is round 2. So this is our opportunity. We've had our first run through this exercise. So this time we know the broad strokes really well, and we can really focus in and go, okay, where are the places where I need to pay attention to my form? Am I keeping my core engaged the whole time so that when I squat, this weight is not pulling my back over or forward, Am I paying attention to my knees the whole time, making sure that they are still going straight over the feet no matter how many reps in I am, okay? So, yeah, second time through, it's our sophomore year of college, right? We know just enough to be dangerous. And this is the time where we have to learn to be a little bit more circumspect, okay? To rein it in, to really pay attention, be like, okay, now that I'm not using all of that brain space for super active rapid fire learning, now I need to transition it over to focusing in on the information that I do have and figuring out how to maximize its use, okay? All right, I'm gonna take a drink of water because I've been trying to do that for the last several sets. Oh yeah, that was important. And please make sure that you too are hydrating this whole time, okay? Even as we start our upright rows and we're moving along, the whole purpose of this timer structure is to give you that time to be able to take a little rest, to get that water, to stretch out if you need to do a little bit of stretching out, really have that time, and that's why we structure the timer this way. So take advantage of it, okay? Take advantage of what's on offer. Oh, it is so important. Woo! Let me tell you, laundry detergent bottles are so good for a class like this. You know, and who hasn't had the experience of like lifting a detergent bottle and being like, oh yeah, I could weightlift with that. Well, now's the perfect time to do that because they are super useful. Oh, hey, you are out of here. Wow. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Yeah, you're out of here. Hey, everybody. You do not ever come onto somebody's stream and tell them to take their clothes off unless it's literally someone who is doing that specifically. This is an exercise stream, friends. All right, my friends, while I am typing up this report message, I want you to be getting ready for your goblet lunges, okay? Give me 1 second. Bye-bye. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was fun. You know, thankfully, I don't have too many issues with that. And even more thankfully, I have some of the best friends and mods and loved ones in the world. Thank you. Thank you, Will, for the ban there. But let me tell you, the first time that I had people come on my stream and say shit like that to me was a really awful day. And, you know, it's a type of armor that AmFab folks have to build up on the internet. And it's really shitty that we have to do that. It's really shitty. So, yeah. Don't be like whoever that fucker was who I just banned. Don't be an ass. Don't be a dick, you know? That's really just, I think, a law that we all should live by. Oh, man. But you know what? We're here weight training, lifting heavy things. Whedon's Law, exactly. You know? It was a wise law when he said it on that. Hey, it was a lure video, wasn't it? That's where he said that. It was in the Stinger to a lure video. Like, how wild. Love it. All right, we're doing lateral raises, my friends. We're shaking it off, and we're here weight training because you know what? We want to be badasses, and weight training is a good way to do that. As are plenty of different types of fitness activities, but weight training is what we're doing today. So focusing in on the amount of weight, you want to make sure that you are in control of the weight the whole time. So if you're using weights that are maybe slightly too light, you might have a tendency to sort of yank them up really quickly and then you go past shoulder length, which is not great. And but if you're using weights that are too heavy, then gravity comes and tries to pull your arms down too quickly. So you want to Goldilocks your weight selection process, and you want to make sure that you are in control of the weight at all points during this exercise, okay? So you don't want to be yanking them really fast up, and you don't want to be letting them drop really fast down. Neither of those are good. So don't do them. You know, the most important thing about free weights is just learning to move that amount of weight through space safely. And if you didn't grow up doing an activity that required, you know, that type of free weight training, then this might not be something that you're used to. It certainly wasn't something that I was used to. You know, most of my training is in dance, which is not a form of movement and activity that generally leads me to be in weight rooms. So the whole reason that I ended up exacerbating an existing shoulder issue and turning it into something a lot more consistent and chronic was that I didn't have a proper understanding of form and safety protocols when I was doing weight training. And I was doing, you know, a group class. So the teacher didn't necessarily have the time to spend specifically with me working on that form. And, you know, again, talking about trying to overload your weaker side to bring it up to the performance level of your stronger side. That's basically exactly what I did. And I was doing an exercise that required me to hold a kettlebell over my head and keep it there and stable for, you know, while like getting myself off the ground and then back onto the ground. And I just lost control of it and wrenched my shoulder, you know? So if you're here in class and weight training, free weight training is not something that you've done a ton of, then I really want you to take today's class to focus in on how do I safely move these weights through space, okay? And even next week, you know, you'll be more of an old hand, obviously, at the exercises, but you still want to make sure that you are confident in your form, okay? You are confident that you are not setting yourself up for an injury, all right? That's our goal. We would like to avoid injuring ourselves if at all possible. All right, back to our upright rows. And you know, when you're lifting this big weight or weights, if you're using two, a nice big exhale can really help to energetically move the process along and sort of make it feel, and possibly psychosomatically, but possibly not, make it feel a little bit easier to get the weight up through the full range of motion, okay? So that's something you can do. Obviously, I don't do a ton of that because I'm talking the whole time, but that is absolutely something that you can be doing as you're doing your reps, okay? Oh my goodness. And don't forget to drink water. Water, 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 water. Fitness mom voice. The singer for, oh my God. Commodore Hustle, yep. Oh, that was a great episode. That was a great episode. Yeah, no, it's true. He might have said it prior to that, but that was the first time I remember hearing it, definitely. And, you know, good words to live by. Hey, kids, don't be a dick. So there we go. That's going to be our lesson for today. But don't stop exercising because we've still got a bit to go. Okay. We have time for water? Quick water drink. Oh. See, this is a problem. I keep trying to speed through my water breaks and then almost choking on my water because I'm trying to drink it so quickly. So, you know, don't do that. Don't try to drink your water so quickly that you end up choking. So this is our third time through, right? We're at the point where we're over halfway through, which is awesome, but it does mean that our muscles are a little more fatigued, and this is the point where our brain's attention may start wandering enough. So I don't know if you noticed in there, but I went to do a rep and I sort of ended up leaning to the side because I wasn't engaging my core, my stabilizing muscle group. So the weight that I was holding wasn't as firmly in my control as it usually is, and started pulling me over and away from the direction that would have been more stable. So as you're going through your third set of all of these exercises, I want you to really recommit your brain to focusing in on your form, okay? Because this is the time. This is our junior year, where again, we know more than we did, but we're a lot more tired than we were in the first 2 years. Because now, you know, people are expecting us to make decisions that are going to impact the next like 20, 30 years of our lives. And that's really intense. And we're not getting as much support from as we are used to. We're just sort of expected to figure stuff out on our own. So as we're going through these third sets, I want you to really check in, recommit. So now for something like this, or for the upright rows, you know, the lateral raises are a single joint exercise, okay? The only joint that is moving is my shoulder joint, okay? That's why we want to have everything else nice and stable. We want our trunk to be nice and stable here. That's why we've engaged the core, we've engaged the glutes, and we've taken a stance with our feet probably at least hip width apart. You know, the closer together your feet are, the less stable a stance you're in, you know? So as soon as you give yourself a slightly wider base, that was perfect. And I can just feel really confident that nothing about this position is going to make me go off in a weird direction or fall over when I don't intend to or anything like that, okay? So really, you really want to, especially for those single joint exercises, make sure that you're giving yourself as much stability as you can, okay? So everybody's resting, everybody's drinking water and getting pumped because we are about to head into our fourth and final run through these exercises, okay? So we have done 3 of our 4, and now it's time to come back around to to goblet lunge or goblet squats. Where am I? I clearly have completely lost the thread of class. So here it is. Here is our 4th run through goblet squats. So again, this is that place where, you know, we start to feel a little bit of the approaching finish line euphoria, but we want to make sure that our form does not suffer as a result, okay? So feeling excited, maybe feeling a little bit of a renewed burst of energy as we go through this final set, but making sure that we're still sending our knees straight out over our feet and we are not ending up doing anything that is going to set us up for an injury, okay? Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to drink my water now so I'm not racing the end of the timer. Oh yeah, much better. I still swallowed a little bit down the wrong pipe. You know, It's just the risk you take when you're trying to drink water while exercising. And it's a critical risk because we're bad at hydrating ourselves, especially while we're exercising. But, you know, when we're doing an activity that is naturally increasing our breath rate and making it a little harder to bring it under full control, and then we try to add drinking water on top of that, which is an exercise that has to close off our windpipes, then we end up with fun experiences of just a little bit of water going down towards our lungs and being like, wait, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. This is the wrong direction. But here we are, last time for our upright rows. So nice big dramatic breaths as you lift those weights up. Remember, again, you are in control of the weight the whole time, all right? No matter where you are in the position, you don't ever, especially when you're lowering it, you don't ever let gravity take control and pull it down, all right? And part of that is making sure that your shoulders are fully engaged the whole time, because they are a critical component of controlling that weight. Absolutely, all right? Whew. Oh man, yeah, it is totally dark outside. It is totally dark outside. It is definitely time for a softbox. I can't imagine what this looks like to anybody walking by on the street. Thankfully, you know, there's a large tree in front of my apartment, so there's not too much visibility, but man, it must look really funny to be like, all right, there's a woman who is lifting a detergent bottle and talking to herself in the middle of her living room, apparently. Who knows what that's about? All right, so here we go, getting ready for our last run of our goblet lunges. So again, check in on that form. Each time we go through an exercise, as if it's the first time you've ever done it, I want you to take a sec to check in on your form, particularly when we are getting further and further along through class and you are feeling more and more fatigued, okay? Because as we become fatigued, we start to lose focus on the exercise. And that is when first our brain will default to whatever form of the exercise it has drilled into its head, which is why correct form is so important. Because if you've done 50 reps incorrectly, you've trained your body to do the exercise that way. And so now, even if you are trying to do it correctly, when you start to get tired, your body's going to try to default to that way that it's practiced more at, okay? So as we get fatigued, first, you know, we start falling backwards into whatever our pre-existing habits are. Hopefully they are correct form. But then we start getting towards that place where we're feeling closer to failure, you know? People talk about doing an exercise to failure. Basically what they mean when they say that is that they are doing an exercise as many times as they can before they get to the place where they're like, if I do one more rep of this, I will not be able to maintain the form. And that's not what we're going for here. So it should not be the exact experience that you're having as we go into our final set of lateral raises. But it is something that gets nearer and nearer the farther into class we go, and the more we have used and fatigued these specific muscle groups, you know? Part of the reason that we alternate back and forth between arm and leg exercises is to give the different muscle groups a little bit of a rest period to recuperate, and that helps them to regenerate some capacity and some energy. But you know, we've been going for an hour, and that means that no matter what rest we've been giving ourselves, we are still at a place where we're feeling that fatigue increase. You know, we have passed the point where the fatigue feels like it fully goes away. So yeah, so as we keep going, it becomes more and more important to just touch base with your form. Okay, that is the grounding point of your exercise, or should be, is, am I doing the exercise correctly? And if it takes you a full month of doing, you know, just like 5 reps in a row and then having to stop because you can't maintain the form past that, that's fine. That is a better way to train yourself than trying to pump out as many reps as you can and doing them wrong. All right? Oh man, guess what's about to happen? Hey! Wow, congratulations, my dears. I'm just sitting in front of my laptop, but let's shake our arms out a little bit. We don't generally do huge stretches on our weight training days, although, you know what? I'm feeling the desire for a little bit of quad stretching, and since I'm the teacher, I get to do that. So let's come over to our mats really quickly and do my favorite quad stretch. So the working leg, the leg that we're going to stretch the quad on, you want to fold the foot on the outside of the leg and pull that heel into the outside of your hip as close as possible. The other leg, you've just sort of let the knee fall open. We don't want to let this working knee pull off the ground at any point, so keep that in mind. And we are just going to lower ourselves backwards only as far as we need to get a nice intense stretch along the top of the quad. So for some of you, just coming here may be enough to get there, and that's awesome. For some of you, you may be able to make it all the way down to your elbows, and for some of you, you may come all the way down to the floor. Wherever you get to, when you hit that point, I want you to just sort of settle in. We want to move slowly into these positions so that we are not activating the muscle, okay? Because any stretching is a lengthening of the muscle, and our muscles do not ever do that deliberately. When our muscles are activated, they are always trying to contract, okay? The only time that they lengthen is when the external force is stronger than the force that's able to be generated by the muscle. So when we're doing static stretching, we want to move slowly into the position so that we're not at any point activating our brain to send a signal to the muscle saying, oh, it's time to work, because if we do that, then the muscle is going to go, oh, cool, and that's not what we're going for. All right, we are going to take 4 deep breaths here. Every time you inhale, I want you to visualize the oxygen going to wherever the sensation is most intense in your quad. Every time you exhale, I want you to try to sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. All right, here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. All right. Let's carefully and not particularly gracefully get back up to sitting. Don't try and unfold this leg under its own steam. I want you to take one hand to the knee, one hand to the ankle, lift them up with your hands, not using your leg. Unfold the legs in front of you, shake the knees out a little bit, and then since we crunched that ankle in the position, let's flex our feet and point and flex and point and circle the ankles, first one direction and then the other direction. All right, now let's do the other side. So same thing, all the same form notes, moving nice and slowly into the stretch so that I'm not making my muscle tense and think that it has to contract. This can be a really intense stretch, which is why you don't want to go any farther than you need to, okay? Because if you try and push yourself too far, well, there are a lot of ways that you can injure yourself that way, okay? One of the things we talk about a lot is learning how to listen to the signals of your body. So there is a difference between, wow, this is a really intense stretch and that feels good, and wow, I'm about to tear something. And it's very important that you're able to differentiate between those two sensations, okay? All right, let us take our 4 deep breaths. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. All right, carefully moving ourselves back up to sitting. Again, one hand to the knee, one hand to the ankle, lift and unfold in front of you. Other leg to meet it, shake out those knees, flex the feet, and point, and flex, and point, and circle our ankles one direction, and then the other direction. Oh, all right, my dears. That felt nice. Yeah, I just suddenly felt the desire for a little bit of quad stretching. You know how much I love that stretch. All right. Oh, what a wonderful class. Thank you all so much for being here. Emily, it was so lovely to have you on the stream. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Yes, thank you to the valiant and heroic efforts of my mods. Oh, what a good class. I'm so excited for the rest of Rocktober, you guys. Like, I am really thrilled to see how much we can push and challenge ourselves over the next 4 weeks. So I hope you are too. I hope you're able to make it to the whole month. And always keep in mind that my VODs upload on Sundays. So if you missed the specific day, you can always catch up with the class if you need to at a later time. And, you know, you can always take the VODs on Twitch itself for 2 weeks after the class before they get deleted off of there. So multiple ways to catch up with class if you're not able to make the stream. But it's always so lovely when you can. There is just one more class this week. It's tomorrow morning, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. It's the weekend kickoff, our awesome strength and stamina focused bodyweight class, and that will be our final Rocktober kickoff. And then next week we get to really dive into the good stuff, which is super exciting. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those handles are in my end card, but they're all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel, Blanche Case Fitness, is where I upload all of the VODs for this class. It is also where a lot of supplemental material is going to be going up over the next few months, so definitely head over there and subscribe if that's your jam. If you enjoyed yourself and are financially able to help me keep making these streams, donations are always appreciated over at my coffee page, Blanche Case Fitness. And if you want to help me keep growing this channel, growing this community, getting to our first big Twitch milestone, which is Twitch affiliate, then please follow this channel, because we have so much fun and there's so much stuff coming down the pipeline that I'm super excited to share with you. And yeah, it's just a good time. It's a good time. All right, I think that is it. So everybody, go hydrate, go make yourself some delicious dinner, have a nice relaxing evening, and I will see some of you back here tomorrow morning. Mwah. Have a great night.